Today we're going to be making a video of a Ruger Redhawk chambered in .44 Magnum and comparing it to a Smith & Wesson model 629, also in .44 Magnum. I'm going to cover a few of the little features about the guns that are different, and a comparison about how they feel, how the triggers go, just overall information about the gun. First of all, Smith & Wesson revolver. Serial number is on the bottom of the frame on the butt. You can actually see it through these Pachmayr grips. Some Smith & Wessons actually did come with Pachmayr grips, some didn't. This is an older model Smith & Wesson. You can find your model numbers on your Smith & Wessons here. So this one is a model 629-3, which makes it fairly old. It has the firing pin still on the hammer. And this is a 4-inch barrel model. It's a good deal lighter than the Ruger Redhawk. And as you can see, it's also got about a 3-inch shorter barrel. I really like Smith & Wesson sights. They come with a orange insert on the front sight and a little square box on the back, which makes lining up the sights a little easier. Nice wide hammer spur. The cylinder release moves forwards and backwards. Smith & Wessons have always been known to have some of the best triggers in the market, be the smoothest revolvers with the most finesse on the market. While sometimes not the strongest, I've also found this true. They're usually just as, if not more accurate than any other revolver out there, but they don't stand up to full house loads. This is probably my 4th or 5th Smith & Wesson revolver, my 3rd .44 Magnum. This is a Ruger Redhawk. You can see the hammer spur is a little narrower. The grip is smaller. Definitely not as ergonomic as the Smith & Wesson. Your cylinder release is a push in, and of course, not being a Smith & Wesson, there is no information here in the loading port. You can also see there's an integral scope base put on this gun, which is handy because most folks with a gun this size will end up putting some kind of a scope on it just to play with it or see what it's like. Sights are almost identical, just a little bit shorter design and newer design. If you look at the back of them, they are literally identical, except on the Ruger, the front sight is removable, so you could go with a taller front sight if you were doing some really long range stuff. I really like that feature of it. Biggest thing with the Smith is the triggers. I use a Lyman trigger pull gauge, and this goes between 3.5 and 4 pounds single action just about every time. So it's very consistent and it's very light. The Ruger goes to right around 5 pounds just about every single time on single action. And hopefully get this so we can read it on here. You have to push the red button a couple times to make sure it's ready. £5 pounds, 4 ounces. I've also done about 10 tests of this before I started the video. And we're at 3 pounds, 12 ounces. And there's the single action trigger on this Smith & Wesson is a dream come true. 3 pounds, 10 ounces. I've seen folks whittle them down to their lighter, but that usually wears out the parts more often. As for accuracy, the sight radius on the Ruger gets just a little bit more accurate than the Smith & Wesson. However, I feel given a similar sight radius, you're going to be at equal on the accuracy part. The double action trigger. Truthfully, it's pretty rare that a double action trigger is used in a double action revolver of this size. It's usually meant for hunting. But if it is used in a defensive situation, the triggers are both over 12 pounds. The Lyman trigger gauge only goes to 12 pounds. I try not to max it out really often. The Ruger trigger starts off, well, first of all, the Ruger trigger is shorter. Your distance of travel is shorter, and it stacks. It gets heavier, 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 and it fires. So it starts out here, and by the time you get to there, it's added about 2 to 3 pounds in weight. The Smith & Wesson trigger, however, begins, you shouldn't dry fire these with the little nipple on the end of the hammer as a firing pin. So it gets smooth. And the last like ½ inch of pull, it actually drops in weight drastically. Most Smith & Wesson triggers do that. In my opinion, it makes them easier to fire double action and give yourself a better, more consistent grip. Just because that last little bit of pull, you're not forcing the gun one direction or the other. They're both great guns. The Ruger's a little cheaper than a Smith & Wesson. It's a heavier, more solid gun, but it doesn't have quite the finesse. This holds true pretty much throughout the line with Smith & Wesson revolvers. If you have any questions, please post them below. Really, the Smith & Wesson is just a smoother gun. It's got a bigger hammer to get your thumb on. It feels a lot better when you put your thumb up there as opposed to the narrower grip, the narrower hammer on the Ruger. I really don't like the little grip knock and angle of the Ruger. With the Pachmayr grip though, I'm sure that could be changed, but the frame is just shaped completely different for the grip on a Ruger. Thanks for looking. Check us out again. There'll be more videos and reviews coming soon. And if you have any questions, please post them below.